Freddie, freeze! Don't move a muscle. Keep your eyes straight ahead. This is the secret 003 Macho Man. Time has come to plug you, dirty rat. Now turn around very slowly.
Hi, Freddie. This is all arranged so that I could say to the comedian who battled his way right back from the very edge of disaster, tonight, Freddie Starr, this is your life.
Oh, my God. You and you. Oh, God.
It's quite a story we have right back at the theater, okay?
Sure. Oh.
Well, there's a welcome for you, Freddie. We got the great man himself on the wrong foot there with a great opening, and my thanks, of course, right away to Sarah Green. And, of course, your pal, tough guy, Bodie of the professionals, Lewis Collins. You frightened the life out of him back there, and me as well, I might add.
Yes, well, you see, Freddie, as we know, has a natural aversion to tranquility. In fact, once I was in a restaurant, a golf club restaurant, which I think you may remember, and I was trying to be suave and sophisticated with a film producer, and suddenly a bread roll bounced off my head, you know, and I looked across, and of course, there was Freddie. I can't tell you what happened next, but I ended up with a plate of spaghetti in my face, and I've always vowed to avenge you in public by putting green slime down his trousers. I just happened to have... Should I do it?
Let him off tonight. Thank you, Lewis Collins. Freddie, yours is the story of a tremendous talent which climbed to the top, then in drugged despair, plummeted to the bottom, but now you're at the top again. And Freddie, always at your side, encouraging your recovery, inspiring your fight back, has been the former dancer you married 10 years ago, and here, of course, tonight, your wife, Sandy. Yes, you thought she was at home, but Sandy, you're not here by yourself.
No, Daddy, I'm here too.
Yes, your 8-year-old daughter, Donna. There you are, Donna. And Freddie, Donna's been telling us how you make her laugh at home. Donna, what does he get up to?
He does the robot.
A robot? What does he do? Show me. Very good. Well, now, Freddie, when you were Donna's age, life was pretty tough for you, as your father, an often out-of-work bricklayer, struggled to provide for a family of 7. Now, sadly, he died when you were a teenager. But here tonight from Liverpool, your mother, Hilda, and with your stepfather, Jack, your brother, Richard, your sisters, Hilda and Brenda, and Brenda's husband, John.
Oh, yes. Right. Thank you. Hi, John.
Freddie, you have another sister who, as you know, had to go into hospital for an operation this week, but just a short while ago we talked to Joan in the hospital, and she's coming along fine and sends you her love.
Hello, Freddie. Joan here. I've just had a major operation, but I feel marvellous now. And I'm awfully sorry I can't be with you. But best of luck anyway on your night. Bye-bye now. Bye, Sandy.
And there's somebody else missing from this family reunion, but on that screen, he's going to say hello to his dad right now. And I hope another star in the Starr family, your 3-year-old son, Jody.
Daddy, I've got a suit on like yours.
Thank you, Freddie Starr. Hey, Jody, following in the footsteps of a famous father. A poor lad from Liverpool, you, who through hard work and a unique talent for mimicry, comedy, and singing went right to the top of show business like this.
We have now on top of the pops the fabulous Mr. Tom Jones. It's not unusual to be loved when you want.
Excuse me, love, you didn't see anything roll up the stairs and anything.
Darling, I have to write to say that I won't be lonely anymore, cause something happened to me while I was driving home when I'm not the same anymore, cause I was lonely 24 hours and I'm fine. Lonely, wanting to hear it from your heart. I hate to do this to you. I miss somebody new. What could I do?
Well, Freddie Starr, this is your life, and you were born in Huyton, Liverpool on January 9th, 1943. Here's your very first impersonation of a bouncing 4-month-old baby. You were christened Frederick Leslie Fowle, Fowle being the family name. You changed your name at the start of your career in show business, but not only because you liked the starry sound of Starr, right?
Right.
Why did you change it then?
I don't know, really. It was just one of those things that...
Fair enough. After school, Freddie at Sylvester's Primary, then Huyton Secondary Modern, young Freddie Starr hurried to his home in Brookwood Road, where Brenda, when you two played together, he'd create a world of make-believe.
Yes, Eamon used to love horses. We were so poor, my mum and dad couldn't buy him a horse. So he used to come home and make a mini Grand National. And he'd have the horse jumping over the fences.
Well, what was the horse?
I'm sorry, the horse, I mean the dog.
The horse was a dog, yeah. And one day, Hilda, young Freddie saw a horse straying on the road outside your house.
Yes, it was a horse, Eamon.
Straight from the stables nearby.
Yes.
And right now, Freddie, we're taking you back to Brookwood Road, Huyton, to hear what happened next from two school day pals of yours, Jimmy Geary and Laurie Gabriel.
Hello, Fred. Remember the day when you found a horse? Something like this one, straying in a field. So you decided to bring it home. You were only about 12 at the time. You could just about reach the reins. Or we suppose that's what you were reaching for anyway.
And you tried to make it warm, so you brought it into the home.
Into the hall. Along to your mum's kitchen.
We wouldn't run away. You tied him to the door handle with one of your stockings.
But you still didn't think he'd be warm enough. So you had another good idea.
And this was the sight that met your mother when she came through the back door.
She must have thought she was going to jump over Beecher's Brook when she seen this. Anyway, Freddie, here's one thing straight from the horse's mouth. We'll both be down to London to see you.
Yes, they're here, those school day pals of 30 years ago, Laurie Gabriel and Jimmy Geary.
I love it.
Hilda, it must have been a shock to find that horse in your kitchen, was it?
It was a shock.
Yeah. But of course now, by the age of 13, Freddie was already a clever mimic, wasn't he?
Yes.
Did that worry you?
Yes, the only time I was worried, Eamon, is that I went anywhere visiting in case he made a slip up, you know, mimicking people.
In October.
Mimicking. Mimicking.
In October 1957, Freddie, your mum sees a newspaper advertisement that famous talent spotter, the late Carol Levis, is auditioning for young entertainers. She takes you along to the hall where you announce that you're going to sing, tell the pianist the name of the song, and take up your position by the piano.
But, Freddie, I must confess I thought I wouldn't be able to play for laughing.
Yes, the accompanist of that audition 27 years ago and founder of Young People's Roadshow you later joined, Hilda Fallon. Hilda, you say you could hardly play for laughing. Young Freddie was that funny at the audition?
Well, he was only 13 at the time, wearing a long pair of trousers. You couldn't see his feet. He looked hilarious. See? You couldn't see his feet. I barely fell off the stool.
She nearly fell off the stool, but that gave somebody else an idea.
Yes, me. I thought, what a great partner you'd make.
Yes, you became partners and pals 28 years ago. Here tonight, Hilda's brother, Johnny Fallon. Johnny, his double act with you was the start of one of his later-to-be-famous characters, wasn't it?
That's correct.
What was that?
Well, he used to call himself Freddie the Teddy.
Freddie the Teddy.
How you doing? How you doing, Scomhead?
Thank you, Johnny and Hilda Fallon. Well, Hilda, although Carol Levis couldn't find a place for Freddie in a show, he did tell him about a film company who are auditioning in Liverpool for talented youngsters, and Freddie got a job on the spot, the film Violent Playground, and here you are, about to walk into a load of trouble.
Johnny, you should have seen down by the fire, Johnny. Johnny, you're the firefly boy.
Kick him.
Stop him, Johnny, stop him.
Who's the firefly?
I wouldn't say, Johnny, not to anyone else.
Kick him.
Honest, Johnny, I wouldn't.
Who's the firefly?
I don't know.
Who said kick him?
But I thought you...
You can't think.
Johnny.
Wipe your nose.
The young actor firing the questions you there was quite a little tough guy.
Right.
He went to live in America 23 years ago and was later to become internationally famous as Ilya Kuryakin and the Man from U.N.C.L.E.
That's right.
And tonight he's the man from New York because we've flown him from there, David McCallum. David, that was 27 years ago. Your memory of Freddie as a 13-year-old.
Oh, I always remember the cheeky Liverpool kid. He was the one that was always smiling. He was always trying to please everybody. He was, no matter what you did to him, if you kicked him, whatever, he just came right back. No wonder he went on to make so many people laugh. Although I understand his career hasn't exactly been all laughs. But it's just wonderful to see you again.
Thank you, David.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, David McCallum. And when you leave school, you take a job at an engineering works. You then work for just over a year at Camillard Shipyard, Birkenhead. You also find work singing in nightclubs. At the age of just 18, you make two important decisions, to marry and to try for a full-time career in show business. But setbacks follow. Though you have a son, your first marriage is destined to fail after a few years, and after only 15 months, the pop group you'd formed breaks up. Now, wondering where your future lies, you decided to visit an aspiring young Liverpool actor pal who'd gone to London to try his luck. You telephoned at his tiny Kilburn flat.
Hello? That you, Fred? Certainly you can have a kip for the night.
For 10 years, he was Eddie Yates in Coronation Street, the man who gave you a roof over your head 20 years ago, Jeff Hughes. So, Freddie came down to London and stayed the night with you?
Yeah, he stayed that night, and the next night, and the next night after that, and then for about 150 nighs. But it was never dull with him around, you know, because he was always cracking jokes and his humour's brilliant. I mean, it was marvellous. I mean, we were all up against it in those days, but as you can see, we didn't starve.
Thank you, Jeff Hughes.
Thank you.
In 1963, you changed your name and your fortunes. The song and comedy group Freddie Starr and the Delmonts wins Opportunity Knocks 5 consecutive times. With the Delmonts, you played clubs throughout this country and the Middle East, but after 6 years, you all felt that the constant touring had become too much and you mutually agreed to split up. Now, Freddie, you've been able to keep in touch with one of your pals in that group because he still lives in your native city of Liverpool, and from there he's here tonight, Alan Davis.
Hello, Alan.
And Freddie, we traced one other to his home in Bilgola Plateau, Newport, New South Wales, and we've flown him from Australia to be reunited with you after 13 years, Terry Lappin. Terry, you've got a message from the third Delmont, your brother Kevin.
Yeah, he's sorry he can't be here tonight, but he wondered if you remembered the time when we were in Aden at the Rock Hotel.
Yeah.
And we all had these coconuts, you see. Yeah. And you couldn't get the husk off yours, remember?
That's right, yeah.
And all the Arabs used to sleep under these tin roofs and all that, and Freddie just got impatient, threw his coconuts out the window, screamed at the top of his voice. And the bloody coconut was bouncing off these tin roofs. And all these Arabs picked up their beds and ran like hell down the street.
Thank you, Terry Lappin and Alan Davis.
Thank you, Alan.
Freddie, after the breakup of the Delmonts, you try your luck as a solo performer, and with your unique style of mimicry, clowning and singing, you soon click with the theatre and club audiences. And in 1970, right out of the blue, you're chosen for a spot on the Royal Variety Performance. The unknown Freddie Starr gets a standing ovation, and you're on the way to the top. In 1971, you're one of the stars of Who Do You Do? And 3 years later, on April 27, 1974, you and Sandy, whom you had met when she was a dancer in one of your shows, are married. By 1978, Freddie, your punishing work schedule had you under tremendous pressure. You sought relief by taking tranquilizers, but far too many. Now, Sandy, your marriage must have been pushed to the limit when Freddie became addicted.
Yes, but the person that suffered the most in all this was Freddie. It was him.
Ah, Freddie, we know, in fact, how close that addiction came to ending not only your career, but your life, yeah?
Yes.
I mean, you thought about...
Yeah, I did think about the other alternative, yeah.
Now, I said before we met tonight that when you hit troubled times and you were written off by many people, your real friends stood by you. And right now, we're taking you to Copacabana Beach, Rio de Janeiro, to hear from a special friend on holiday there who used to spend his winters in his hometown of Oldham until he found fame.
Hello, Fred. You don't know who this is, do you? It's me.
Yeah.
Well,
Bobby
I'm
Ball,
here,
yes.
Freddie, in Rio de Janeiro. The sounds, Sugarloaf Mountain, people. But I'm not happy, Fred. I'm not happy. There's nobody recognised me yet. I'm filling up, Freddie. I wish I could be with you, Fred, in all that rain. But I'm here. I'm stuck here. But I want to tell you something, Fred. A short while ago, you were working at the Shaftesbury Theatre, and I've known you a long, long time. And I came to see you, and you're having a very bad time, you're very down. And a lot of people in showbiz were knocking you then, but they overlook your talent. And I just want to say, Fred, I came to your house, and we sat and had a talk, and I told you, I said, now, come on, Fred, get up and show them what you're made of. And you did, pal. And you proved me right, and you proved all them wrong. Freddie, it takes a big man to do that. You're a star, you, Fred. Have a nice time tonight. See you, Fred.
Thank you, Bobby Ball in Brazil. Freddie, your phenomenal rise to the top, to a point where you were being described as the highest paid performer in Britain, was, unknown to you then, keenly watched by a young comedian then struggling for recognition. There were few more disappointed when your career fell apart, and few more delighted to see you so successfully put it all back together again.
I regard Freddie Starr as not only a splendid bloke, but one of the funniest men in the business.
That's the opinion of an expert, because he too is now a king of comedy. Who else but Billy Connolly? Billy, Oddly enough, you and Freddie got together for the first time, some 6 months ago over lunch.
Oh, I've known him for at least 20 minutes, yeah. Years and years I wanted to meet him, you know. And I was always kind of scared that he would rear up at me, you know, and embarrass me or something. But then we did a benefit for the Shadows were together for 56 years or something. That's right. 25 years, and we met. And we sort of circled like dogs for a minute or two. Then I put my hand out to shake his hand, and he tore a lump off my cheek and ate it. He takes a bit off your cheek and he says, ah, my boy. But I did the speech as I was booked to do, and then I saw him in the audience, and I was supposed to do an auction, those boring kind of auction bits. And I got him up to help me, and he's an expert at that kind of thing. And it was lovely watching people at the Shadows all waiting for us to be dirty. You know? And we didn't do it, and I was smashing. You're a good lad. Can I sit down?
Yes, thank you, Billy Connolly. Well, Freddie, quite something for a comedy character to have Billy Connolly as a fan. But your greatest fans, more than fans, are your family. And to complete that loving fan club, your 3-year-old son, Jody. Freddie, as we close, I'd like to take you right back to the very beginning of your career, when you were a little-known comedy performer appearing in clubs in the north of England. There, you occasionally cross paths and become pals with a young singer already rapidly becoming famous, and he was soon to become internationally famous as he recorded a string of mammoth hits, starting with...
Please release me, let me go.
Yes, that pal has lived and worked in America for 15 years now, but for you, he's here tonight, Engelbert Humperdinck. Engelbert, your memory of the early days of Freddie's career.
Vivid. I must tell you, but we first met in theatrical digs.
That's right.
In Leeds, and the lady that had the house gave me the best room in the house, which really made Freddie very mad.
He always got the best treatment.
Oh, you see, and the lady bought this little dog, right? This little dog that used to bite his feet, and she called it Engelbert.
Engelbert, yeah.
And that drove him crazy. Even more.
I used to kick him.
And he looked at me one day and he says, one of these days, I'm going to be in the best room, and you're going to be in that bloody box room that I'm in. Jokes aside, Freddie, I think, is one of the geniuses of our business. And I think it is now time for him to share his talent with the rest of the world. I really do.
Freddie Starr, once again a star. This is your life.